Olivia Bark starts off by looking at a strike. Boyd, so adept at starting ahead. A special moment today for Lauren Boyd and the rest of these Northwestern seniors as she misses high and wide. Boyd has been such a metronome, so consistent over the course of her career. It's actually been all 4 seasons in which she's pitched that she has gone under 3 ERA for the full season on a per 7-inning basis. Misses high there. Missed last season due to injury. Had her 2022 cut short due to injury. Has dealt with injuries throughout her career, but the 5th-year player out of Union, Missouri has pitched through and battled through this season. Really, the Wildcats will not be anywhere close to where they are, 13-5 in Big Ten play without Lauren Boyd in the circle as Bark fouls one away.
And I think the thing that really shines through for Lauren Boyd is her love of the game. Throughout all these injuries, throughout whatever, she could have been done after last season. She could have said, hey, I'm done, I've played my years, I'm going to take a step away. But came back more ferocious than ever and clearly loves playing softball and loves playing here for the Wildcats.
Such a special connection with so many of her teammates. We saw Danielle Williams out with her for her senior day honors as that one misses low. Count runs full on Bark. Williams and Boyd shared a circle for 2021, 2022, 2023. Huge years for Northwestern. 3 NCAA tournaments during that time. Women's College World Series appearance, 2 Big Ten championships, 2 regional championships. As Boyd gets the looking strikeout to start the game, froze Bark on the off speed.
And the woes for Bark continue. She was 0 for 4 yesterday, and that's her 3rd strikeout in as many appearances.
Number 284 in the distinguished career for Lauren Boyd. And now she will face Molly Schlosser. It was this part of the Wisconsin order, 2, 3, 4, 5, that did a ton of damage to Northwestern yesterday. Schlosser checks her swing, takes a strike.
And you mentioned the damage yesterday, Noah, but especially in the first inning, Wisconsin came out and put up 3 on Northwestern in the top of the first. So definitely looking for Lauren Boyd to make things better here and not get anyone in.
Well, Wisconsin scored 8 runs yesterday. 7 of those runs came from the 2 through 5 spots in the order. Hillary Blomberg scored twice. Kendra Lewis scored 3 times. 0-1 to Schlosser. Shows bunts. Did she attempt at it? She did not. Says our third base umpire. That's Vince Pryor over there, who was behind the plate yesterday. It's Michael Hers behind the plate today.
Let's not look at this one. It doesn't. So what they're looking at is if she pulled back or not. It looks like on that. I don't know if she pulled back in time, but.
You remember, a pullback, as there is a chop foul at the plate, a pullback after the ball crosses the plate is not worth a whole lot in that situation.
And that's kind of what it looked like.
Absolutely. Close one, though. 1-2 now on Schlosser.
Very active crowd here at the J today. A lot of people came out to see these seniors play for the last time at home.
Outside. Just missed from Boyd there. And the count evens. Boyd threw 96 pitches on Friday. Her workload has steadily increased over recent weeks. Starting to go back to pitching twice in a weekend. See how long she goes today. 2-2 is just below the knees. And Murray couldn't quite pull it up. A second consecutive full count. These Badger hitters being very patient with Boyd. She was able to get a lot of soft contact in the early going on Friday.
That's something we've seen against Boyd especially. Boyd does such a good job of working outside the zone that batters facing against her really need to be careful about that.
Ball 4 just inside to Schlosser. So Boyd goes from 1-2 to a walk. Missed close on 3 consecutive pitches. So we take a look at the Northwestern defense. Unchanged from the other 2 games of this series. Senior Ayanna Lindsay manning center field. She's had an excellent defensive weekend. Wildcats veteran all the way around in this defensive group, except for at shortstop. As Blomberg foul tips one off the ground, was well over the top of that changeup. We've mentioned how good Hillary Blomberg has been this weekend. A couple extra base hits already.
And also in the game on Friday, Lauren Boyd gave up 1 home run, and the 1 home run was to Blomberg. So Blomberg did seem to find Lauren Boyd's weakness in that game.
Schlosser leaning. Another off-speed pitch fouled off the foot. Boyd clearly not wanting to come with the hard stuff to Blomberg, give her a chance to make some noise. Remember, Schlosser at first, Wisconsin's best base stealer, 17 for 21 on the season. No Badger has attempted a steal so far this weekend against Emma Ray.
And Emma Ray, you know, she kind of wants them to steal. She was throwing down yesterday, trying to pick off some Badgers. She clearly wants someone to steal on her, or try to at least.
The 0-2, chopped foul. Boyd staying with the slow stuff, staying away from the power center. Blomberg stays alive.
And Boyd does such a great job of that, working strikes without throwing the ball in the middle of the zone. That's something you see a lot of pitchers struggle with, where they try to throw a strike on the outside and it drifts into the middle. Boyd is so good at keeping her strikes outside or on the corners of the zone.
The 0-2. Bounces in, hitter on the knee. Blomberg gets a free pass. And there's 2 aboard with 1 out for Kendra Lewis. That is a mistake on an 0-2 count that Lauren Boyd did not want to make.
If you're Boyd there, you're looking for a chase pitch. That's why she went low with it. She went low and inside trying to get Blomberg to chase. She was trying to throw a screwball there. You can tell by the flick of her wrist there. But just went a little bit too awry, and that's not what you want to happen on when you're trying to have a chase pitch.
Blomberg limping it off around first. She's going to stay in the game. And now the dangerous Kendra Lewis scored in her first 3 plate appearances yesterday, including on a 3-run homer in the 4th to really break things open for the Badgers. One of the best young hitters in the Big Ten, if not the best. Watches it off the outside corner for ball 1.
You mentioned her big game yesterday, Noah, but she's 3 for 7 on the weekend, so a pretty respectable hitting weekend for Lewis.
Emily Bojan starting at second base today. She has not played an inning in the field yet this weekend. Has been used exclusively as a pinch hitter and designated player. We'll see if that changes. 1-0 on Lewis. Lined up the middle, that's a base hit. Around third and in is Schlosser, no throw from Lindsay, and Wisconsin has struck first for the second day in a row off the bat of Kendra Lewis.
And that's a good hold there by Ayanna Lindsay. She has a great arm, and she's done a really good job of throwing out runners. As we saw yesterday, she threw out a runner from center. But on that, you know Schlosser's fast. You know she's gunning for home. And Lindsay wasn't going to get the throw in time. So you keep the ball, and you make sure that the runner on second doesn't advance. But great piece of hitting here, just right up the middle. A little bit too far for Nito's outstretched glove. And Ayanna Lindsay does a great job of making sure she doesn't waste that ball and doesn't advance those runners.
The speed of Molly Schlosser, a difference maker for the Badgers there. Threatening with Emmy Wells at the plate. She watches one up and in. Wells, remember, broke things open yesterday in the first inning with a 2-out, 3-run home run. Would love to repeat the feat here. She walked in each of her final 3 plate appearances yesterday.
Yeah, technically she only has 4 at-bats this whole series, even though she's played consistently.
That's a strike near the top of the zone on the outside part of the plate.
Was just hitting so well yesterday that Northwestern didn't want to pitch to her anymore.
Well, certainly a double play candidate if the Northwestern defense can work quickly. They turned a double play yesterday. Grace Nito with a tag and throw at second. Changeup is off the plate outside. So Wells ahead in the count again. Emily Bojan waiting on deck. She's been a dangerous bat this weekend. Couple hits already. Northwestern playing Wells heavily to pull. A lot of room up the middle in the infield. In the dirt, blocked by Ray, and she staves off advancement, but it's 3-1 now on Wells.
Blomberg, not someone who normally steals or tries to take that extra base, but you have to wonder, Noah, if her also getting hit by that pitch and limping around near first base also affected that decision. Sometimes when you see the ball in the dirt and you see the catcher scrambling after it, yes, Emma Ray has a great arm, but you still think about taking that extra base by the time she'll get her wits about herself and make that throw.
3-1 is in there for a strike. It's surprising how many balls Emmy Wells has seen this weekend, given that she's the tallest player on Wisconsin's team, standing 6 feet tall in that catcher position. Bigger strike zone, but a lot of 3-ball and 4-ball counts. 3-2 now on Wells. Fouled to the pad behind the plates.
And I think that right there, Noah, is exactly the reason why she's been seeing so many balls. She's able to waste pitches she doesn't like. Strikes that are in the zone, but not exactly where she wants them. She's able to waste and force those counts deeper. She hasn't seen many 4-pitch walks. It's been a lot of later count walks.
Wells has 28 combined free passes with walks and hit by pitches. That's the most on the team. Looking for another here on the 3-2. Flies it towards left. That's not hit particularly well. Twisting into foul ground. Kania has the ball for out number 2. A big one for Lauren Boyd.
A little bit of a scare there initially off the bat. Looked like she hit it pretty hard, but just winding too far foul. Got a little bit too in front of it and swung those hips out a little bit too much.
Ooh, the swing for Emmy Wells that she has. Very powerful swing, but you can tell just didn't get all this one. A little bit underneath it.
Also a hitter that really likes to lean on that left side. She loves to swing on the ball, use her hips, and just go to the power side.
So here is Bojan. Again, has had 4 at-bats exclusively off the bench in this series so far. Starting today for the first time. And taking just off the plate for ball 1. Bojan had a couple hits as a pinch hitter and a replacement player on Friday. .250 average on the year. She has 20 walks herself in relatively limited action. Watches another ball there. Another patient Wisconsin hitter. The Badgers have plenty of them. In this lineup, every single Badger except for Kendra Lewis, and why does she need to, has at least 11 walks.
I think Kendra Lewis is too eager to swing the bat, and for good reason, too.
That's on the inside part of the plate, strike 1.
Bojan 2 for 3 on the weekend with 2 walks. So as you mentioned, Noah, definitely someone who's prone to taking a walk and isn't afraid of hanging in there and waiting for the count to get deep.
Bojan on the season, .377 on base percentage for the junior. He's played a variety of roles off the bench, in the starting lineup, all of the above for this team. Lines this sharply past the glove of Avisado. The wave around third for Blomberg. Throw to the plate is there, and so is the tag. What a play by Izzy Kania in left. An absolute laser, and for the second game in a row, the Wildcats have gunned down a Badger at home. LOB total for the Cats yesterday. So Grace Nito to lead it off, bunts it foul. Northwestern had a little bit of success with the slap game against Jacobson. Not the most agile pitcher out of the circle.
Jacobson, only her second complete game yesterday, and coming off a game where she did throw 114 pitches. So definitely be interesting to see how long she's in today for Wisconsin.
Absolutely. Jacobson is a veteran. Started her career at Virginia Tech. She goes ahead 0-2 on Nito. The Iowa native really was excellent yesterday, keeping the Wildcat hitters off balance. Had 5 Ks, only the 1 walk.
5K is more than her typical 3.45 over the course of a game.
Nito stays alive. Yeah, exactly right. It's not something that she's excelled at, Zoe, but yesterday she was getting Wildcat swing and misses and getting a lot of looking strikes as well.
She was really working the outside portion of the plate, outside to righties, inside to lefties. We'll see if she goes back to that today. I think the Wildcats towards the end of the game figured it out a little bit more, but still something that she was going to work on, that she was going to lean on because it was so successful yesterday.
Nito watches it off the outside corner. Well, once again, Jacobson has been staked to an early lead. She took that 3-0 lead that she was handed in the bottom of yesterday's first inning and ran with it. You see the numbers for Grace Nito, 326 average. Not a ton of power out of that bat, especially when she slaps out of the left-handed box. Here stands in and gets jammed. Slow roller to second, and play is made in time for the outs.
That's something that Jacobson has done a great job of, especially, is really controlling these slappers. That's something that when Northwestern gets their slappers going, they are nearly unstoppable. And Nito got on base twice yesterday, Nader also twice, but did a good job of limiting them to only getting on base half of their at-bats. It's really hard to limit Nito and Nader to getting on only half of the time they're at the plate.
Absolutely. Crane, by the way, made that play at second. We mentioned Bojan had not played an inning of defense this weekend. That trend continues. She hits in the top of the first, and then is substituted in the bottom of the first for Crane. Expect to see her again, though, in the batting order. So Crane makes the play. Nader steps in and watches a ball. And Riley Crane has played a lot of minutes, a lot of innings, especially defensively at second base in this series. Had the one at bat yesterday as well. And Nader taps it to her again. Crane charges and makes another nice play for out number 2. And that's why there's been so many moving parts for this defensive lineup. For Coach Healy, she wants to have Crane out there at second as much as possible on the defensive side of things.
And just a really good example there of, as you mentioned, Noah, why Crane is out there, but also how agile she is as a second baseman. It's not easy to make that play and then while you're running sidearm that throw to first, but she's able to do that while also realizing that that's a fast runner in Nader too. So she doesn't rush herself, but gets the ball over in time.
Kaylee Avisado watches a changeup low. Avisado raised her average to 368 yesterday. A true first year, reclaimed the team batting lead. Watches this one off the outside corner. So far, it's been very consistent from both pitchers for Michael Hers over there on that outside part of the plate. He has not given anything extra past the edge of that white. The 2-0. Lined up the middle, another base hit for Kaylee Avisado. She just keeps hitting. Still no strikeouts in Big Ten play. It's remarkable what she's done with the bat this season.
And especially, as you mentioned, Noah, when the umpire isn't calling that outside pitch as much, it makes a hitter's job so much easier. You see here a pitch right down the middle, a little bit on the outside of the plate, but pretty much right down the middle, and Avisado goes right back up to second base with it.
And her learning process as a first year and a hitter has been so impressive because for a lot of times this season, she's really been trying to pull everything. But you mentioned it there, Zoe. Pitch a little bit middle out, takes it right back through the middle instead of trying to do too much. And she's on base for Kansas Robinson, who watches a strike.
She's definitely someone who you can tell from that, especially that she sat down, she watched the tape and said, hey, I can't always pull it. If it's on the outside portion of the plate, it's not working. How can I fix this? And goes right back up the middle with that one. Perfect piece of hitting.
Well, and you said it as Robinson watches a ball. What a sign of a great hitter. She did not go on that check swing appeal. To be the type of hitter that can go back and watch film, learn from a mistake, learn how to approach the at-bat. We saw it from Avisado there. We've seen it from her all year, really. Especially as a young player, that can be very difficult. 1-1 is outside to Robinson. She's ahead in the count.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you see from a first year every day. And the best hitters aren't necessarily the ones who are just always pulling the ball and hitting it with power. They're the ones who are hitting what they're given. And so Avisado on that pitch, as you mentioned, given something a little more outside, said, okay, I'm not going to try to pull this over the left field fence. I'm going to take it up the middle. And that's what a good hitter does. They adjust to exactly what the pitcher gives them and hits it into the field.
Robinson fouls it back. 2-2 on Kansas. Robinson. Yesterday, Robinson 1 for 4 with a double. Struck out looking to end the game on a pitch that she thought was outside off the plate.
She was not happy. You saw those eyes bugging from up here in the press box.
A 2-2 now on Robinson. Lines it foul and nearly hit herself in the head on the way back down.
She didn't even know.
I think she's just not worried about it, to be honest with you.
She has a helmet on.
I think if it hit her in the head,
Yeah.
we would have seen the exact same focus on the at-bat.
Honestly, if I'm not certain, I'm the most scared if I'm the umpire because I have the least covering over the top of my head.
It's true. 22 walks on the season for Robinson, 34 strikeouts. Jacobson looking to add to that tally. On the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Got her to go around up high, and Jacobson works around a base runner.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
I also think you have one more fun fact about the seniors.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to the last fun fact about the seniors. I guess I already said it, so kind of have to say it now. But, the stat of the day, of course, is that Northwestern's reign of Lauren terror is coming to an end. At one point, the Wildcats had 5 Laurens on the roster simultaneously. And the last 3 of those 5 Laurens enjoying senior day today. As you see Molly Schlosser down 0-2 now. 75% of the Wildcats being honored, in fact.
There we go.
Today.
He's waiting to say that one.
Named Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told it's a coincidence, but I'm not sure if I believe it, to be honest, Zoe. There has to be some sort of nefarious Lauren conspiracy at play.
I agree. I think Kate Drohan is using some magic. She just needs Lauren's on her team.
1-2 now.
I wonder if when she's recruiting, she puts a star next to the Laurens.
Next to the Laurens,
really look out for that one, you know.
Well, how would you feel if your name is Lauren, you come in on your visit, or when you're in your freshman year and you're like, oh, there's 4 other Laurens? I'm not sure if I would like that.
No.
Grounded sharply, Nito makes the play on 2 hops and retires Schlosser.
I think you get used to being called Lauren in the first initial of your last name.
Absolutely, or just Boyd.
Yeah.
Skibby, as they call Lauren Saborski.
You get ready for a weird nickname is what you get ready for.
Yeah, that's true.
Another look at this one here. Just a nice ground ball. Fielded well by Nito, veteran player. Flips it over to Robinson at first.
Blomberg ended last inning with a nice catch near her dugouts. Thrown out at home back in the first after being hit by a pitch.
And also going back to that interesting choice not to slide at all. Usually if you're the runner and the catcher has the ball, or whatever base you're going into, that fielder has the ball first, usually you give yourself up and slide, but an interesting choice. She tried to avoid it by not sliding, and obviously didn't necessarily work out the way she was planning it to.
Well, now Blomberg ahead in the counts. You can see on the season, 1035 OPS. She's been a force in the middle of this Badger lineup. Second on the team in that category among qualified players, behind only Kendra Lewis. Watches the 2-0 off the outside corner. 3-0 on Blomberg.
Also, someone who's been hitting consistently since she came into this team. As a sophomore, 2 days ago with the home run on Friday, eclipsed her 100th hit already.
Yeah, it's been so impressive what she's been able to do. And, one of those, I mentioned it earlier in the weekend, one of those sophomore glow-ups, if you will, as a hitter. She really worked in the offseason to improve her bat, improve her plate discipline. We saw her take the walk there. It's really paid off in all facets of her offensive game, and she's become a cornerstone for this Wisconsin team with still 2 years left in Madison.
Definitely. Her and Kendra Lewis, 2 pieces of this team. Kendra Lewis, obviously a first year, but 2 pieces that are going to be so important for Wisconsin moving forward.
Once again, Lewis bats with runners on base here. Singled in a run, the only run of the game back in the first. Watches a strike on the outside corner this time. When you watch Kendra Lewis, it's hard not to be reminded of a Kayla Conwent. Conwent always took more walks, had a little bit more plate discipline, but just line drive, line drive, line drive out of the middle of the Wisconsin order. Feels like deja vu. And there's another one. Twisting past Robinson at first, all the way into the corner. Blomberg waved around third. She will score. It's a triple for Kendra Lewis. And she's driven in another Badger run.
And Kendra Lewis, this is just something we've seen from her all weekend. As Noah mentioned, just really hard contact. And when you hit the ball that hard, good things are bound to happen. This was right down the first base line, almost at Kansas, but was just hit so hard and was spinning in a certain way that just got right by her. You see her there. Kansas dives for it a little bit beyond her outstretched glove and sends Nader sprinting for that, trying to throw it in, and gets to third, no problem.
Wisconsin up 2-0 and a chance for more. Emmy Wells bats with Lewis 60 feet away. Northwestern infield in at all 4 positions, trying to cut off a potential third run with just 1 out here. Ball 1. Wow, that was a close pitch.
Having 1 out here instead of 2 really changes the situation, because now a deep fly ball, which we've seen a lot of from Emmy Wells, really scores that run and changes the game.
Well, Kendra Lewis, not the most speed over at third. We've seen Wildcat outfielders throw out runners in each of the last 2 games. The 1-0 is at the bottom of the zone for strike 1.
But if Wells continues to hit the ball just as far as she's been hitting it, as long as it's not to left field, I think even though Lindsay and Nader have fantastic arms, if she just hits it far enough, I think Lewis scores no matter what.
I guess we'll see. The 1-1. Changeup misses the bottom of the zone.
I was going to say, she won't hit a fly ball now because we said that.
Maybe. Flew out to left in foul territory back in the first. Emily Bojan's spot in the order on deck. She's been replaced by Riley Crane, but she is back in the on-deck circle. That's lined foul to even the count at 2.
Can we talk about how hard Wells is hitting the ball? I mean, everything has to be so lined up on that swing for her to have that exit velocity coming off that barrel.
Lauren Boyd has seen traffic on the bases in each of her 3 innings today, already allowed 2 runs, hoping to stave off a third. Wisconsin has been much more consistent the way they've been hitting the softball today than when they faced Boyd on Friday. And so far, once again, Molly Jacobson making it hold up on the other end. The 2-2. Checks her swing. She went around. And that will be a big strikeout for Boyd.
And Boyd does such a good job with those pitches that could go either way. Comes down to the umpire, obviously, but does such a great job of putting the ball in places where the hitter gets frozen because they're not sure where to swing. When you have 2 strikes, you should swing at that. You should swing at anything close. But sometimes you think, oh, but what if I could get a walk out of this? What if I could get a ball out of this? And just is so able to freeze hitters with the placement of the ball and the spin she puts on it as well.
That was very close, but Michael Herr is calling it on the swing. Now, a double switch it looks like for Wisconsin officially. More canny coaching from Yvette Healy. She's going to take Kendra Lewis out of the game, put Bojan into the designated player spot, and pinch run in the second base position for Lewis at third to keep her options as open as possible.
Just more antics. As you called it yesterday, Noah, positive manipulation.
I think you called it positive manipulation.
You said manipulation, I said
yes,
positive.
There you go. The runner at third is Grace O'Brien. We've seen her play second base and run a couple times in this series. So O'Brien in, running at third, playing second. Bojan moves to the designated player spot for now. Lewis will likely go back there the next time through the order. The 1-0. In there to Bojan for a strike.
Great pitch there, just framing the bottom of the knees. Emma Ray also does such a good job behind the plate of framing. People don't give Emma Ray enough credit for how well she is able to catch. Like, she's so good at throwing, and so we focus a lot on that. But Emma Ray does such a good job of helping her pitchers out by stealing strikes.
1-1 in the dirt. Nice stop by Ray. Bojan, remember, nearly had an RBI single in the first until Izzy Kania cut down Hillary Blomberg at the plate. Bojan 3 for 4 this weekend with 2 walks. She's 3 for 3 against Lauren Boyd. Big spot for the junior. 2-1 is off the outside corner for ball 3. Denny Lucy waiting on deck. She started off last inning with a strikeout. Boyd already at 65 pitches through just 2 2/3.
And not exactly what you want to see if you're Northwestern. You want Boyd to go a nice long game. Boyd is tied for first on the team in complete games, so Northwestern definitely likes when she goes further into the game.
Bojan walks.
Again.
That brings Lucy to the plate in a big spot.
That's 3 walks on the weekend for Bojan, 1 in each game that she's played in.
Michelle Gascoigne will meet in the circle with her team. Chops it. Did it hit her foot? It did. Third base umpire made the call, killed it on the play. So a foul ball. Lucy perhaps lucky to avoid what would have likely been an out the way Donahay's been playing.
Donahay picked up that ball so fast. She was nearly ready to throw that ball before it was even called foul. But here you see Donahay charges, picks it up easy with the backhand, and is ready to throw it to first, but then the ball gets called foul and play goes dead.
You can see the way it spun, clearly
Yeah.
hit Lucy's foot.
Yeah, that's not natural off a bat.
This one is fair. Chop to Donahue again. Nice stretch by Robinson to complete the out at first. Boyd with another escape act, but Wisconsin put one across first. The Badgers continuing to do damage to the Wildcats. It's an RBI triple from Kendra Lewis that has Wisconsin up 2-0 headed to the bottom of the third.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Hands go up there. Was a foul call made? That ball was clearly fair. It's also not necessarily his call. The home plate umpire signaled fair, but if the third base umpire called it foul first, it doesn't matter. We have had a lot of umpire conversations and reviews this weekend. that ball looked clearly fair in real time. Home plate umpire Michael Hurst thought so as well. But if it was at any point called foul by the third base umpire, a hit will be taken away from Lindsay.
And, you know, she's worried. She knows that, too. Look at her. She's excited to be standing on second, but she's worried about what's being said among the umpires right now. No, I feel like these umpires have had more conversation than we have this weekend.
We've had a lot of conversations,
That's
so I
true.
don't know if that's quite true. Foul ball.
Oh, wow.
So Ayanna Lindsay robbed of a double by an umpiring mistake. Kate Drohan, apoplectic. It has been a really tough series. Again, this ball, it looks fair all the way. It's not even really that close going over the bag, but it was called foul at third base by Vince Pryor. Kate Drohan is really not pleased.
Not pleased, but not sure what she can do about it here.
There's
If it's
nothing she
called
can
foul
do.
or foul,
Yeah.
it's done.
That's one of the reasons, if you're an umpire, you never want to have those conflicting signals between home plate and third base. Once the ball is killed, it's too late. And as soon as foul is called, there's nothing you can do about it in this situation. Both teams have been on the wrong end of some controversial calls this weekend. Kate Drohan feels like her team has gotten the short end of the stick on a few occasions.
I definitely feel like there's been a focus on the umpires that there isn't in every series. Like there hasn't, we don't always think and talk about umpires as much as we have been this series.
And the problem here is there's just not going to be an explanation that's going to make Kate Drohan feel better about this.
No.
And it's not a reviewable play because, again, once the ball is called foul, you can't overturn it. You can overturn a fair ball call, but you can't overturn foul because the play is killed. I mean, again, the ball is clearly over the third base bag there. And there is some consternation, to be sure, for Kate Drohan, the Northwestern team. Again, I think Kate Drohan well understands that once the foul call is made, there's nothing that can be done, but there's no reason to not try to talk the umpires out of it.
You may as well. It also sometimes, as a coach, you hope that if you talk about it enough, it'll help for a future call or something like that. It's not supposed to, but.
Difficult situation for Ayanna Lindsay, who had a big senior day moment right there taken away, and now it's 0-1. She watches the ball low.
Definitely riled up these Northwestern fans, too. We've heard a lot of cheering, but just a lot more noise out of the Northwestern section than we have in the past inning.
Everybody on the field having to refocus now. Lindsay lifts it to left, just underneath this, and it's camped under and caught for out number one by Schlosser. So the inning changes in an instant from a double for Ayanna Lindsay to a 1-1 flyout.
Imagine what kind of revenge that would have been, though. Like, okay, you call it foul. Watch me do this instead.
Yeah. Kate Drohan talking to Grace Nito here, trying to refocus. You can see Lindsay didn't miss this by much, but didn't quite get all of it. One out now for Nito.
Nito,
remember,
grounded out to second last time she was up. Her and Nader, actually, back-to-back, the Slappers both grounded out to second.
Molly Jacobson, 6 consecutive scoreless innings dating back to yesterday, has allowed at least one base runner in all of them. Pitched around him. Looked to have allowed a base runner early in this inning. We got to credit Yvette Healy, by the way, coming out of the dugout, seeing that the third base umpire had initially signaled foul and looking to get that overturned. It's good coaching.
It's a sign of a veteran head coach.
As Nito watches it low for ball 2.
Kate Drohan, you could doesn't always have much of an expression on her face, but you can definitely tell she's fired up right now.
Absolutely. And usually not a coach to get overly emotional with umpires. She'll talk to them, certainly disagree, but not usually a lot in terms of, physical or facial expressions.
I think you coach for enough time and you realize that that's doing more harm than good. It's
Right.
not getting you anywhere. Usually it's those younger, more rookie-ish coaches that come in and are like,
Absolutely.
I'm going to yell about this and see what happens.
Absolutely.
Kate's like, it's not going to help if she's thrown out of the game, so she may as well try to understand it and get the information for next time.
In that situation, Almost looked like she was just trying to fire up her team.
Yeah.
In sort of a lost cause situation. 3-1 now on Nito.
As a coach, sometimes you go to talk to the umpires, not because you need the explanation or whatever, but just to show them that you care, to show that she's there for Ayanna Lindsay and she believes it should have been fair, even if she knows the rules and knows it couldn't have been reversed.
3-1. On the outside corner, strike 2 to Nito to fill the counts. Kelsey Nader waiting on deck. Wisconsin staked to a 2-0 lead thanks to 2 RBI hits from Kendra Lewis. That is a close pitch on the outside part of the plate.
Framed really well by Wells, especially.
2 great catchers this weekend. We
So
have
good.
seen 2 of the best backstops in the conference and in the country. Grounded up the middle. Nice play by Jacobson. She has done everything for this Wisconsin team defensively. 2 gone now with nobody on for Nader.
And isn't it so much fun to watch good catching? Like, it's something you don't think about a lot. It's just like, oh, it's the catcher. They're just catching pitches behind the plate. But you really notice the impact of obviously throwing down and when people steal, but noticing the impact of a catcher for a pitcher is so important. Both these pitchers, Boyd on Friday and Jacobson today, have been so successful in part because of how well their catchers are and how well they frame things.
Nader chops it to first, and it's a 1-2-3 inning.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Beautiful day for humans and dogs alike.
Oh, beautiful.
Park of the Park Day was yesterday, but
Hey, you don't need to hate.
I'm just saying, I thought we had all of the substitution adventures for Wisconsin covered. I had missed one because
I thought you were going to say the dog.
the dog is coming into the game, yes. No, Kendra Lewis had to go to right field instead of DP when she was subbed in it a couple innings ago in that second baseman switcheroo. That means that Kaylee Whitten actually came in for Brooke Cuffle, who was for previously playing right field. Now Cuffle is re-entered for Whitten, which means she's the 5th Wisconsin second baseman of the day, and we might see a 6th next inning, which has to be beginning to approach a record.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't know how that's kept in a record book necessarily, but I'd love to hear the stats.
There's no way that there's ever been more than 6 players playing second base in one
Playing the
7-inning
same
game.
position? Yeah.
Yeah. Cuffle grounds to third. Donahue, plenty of time.
You know, perhaps the dog can come in and be the 7th.
Maybe the dog will be the 6th or 7th, yeah.
At this point, with all the crazy things we've seen in this game and this series, frankly, I wouldn't even be surprised. Throw a glove on a dog, call it a day.
Absolutely.
Maybe the cow will go into the field. I don't know.
You know, that looked like a black lab. I think the black
Yeah.
lab was saying, you know, golden retrievers have had enough fun with Air Bud. With Air Bud, right? It's time for the black lab to shine.
So true.
Olivia Bark stands in. Had the big sack bunt back in the 4th that created a review. Now lines out to Avisado. So quick inning in the bottom of the 5th, a quick start to the top of the 6th.
A lot of lineouts. Just lineouts make everything feel quick. I don't know what it is about them. Maybe it's
Well,
because
the ball is zipping. Yeah. Ball zipping, no throw. Everything's
Yeah.
happening very
And it's
fast.
so easy. Like, as a fielder, that's your favorite thing. When a ball's just hit to you and you don't have to do anything, amazing. You just raise your glove and people cheer for you. It's fantastic.
Kaylee Avisado loving that feeling.
Yeah.
2 outs for Molly Schlosser. Avisado due up, by the way, in the bottom of the 6th. This Schlosser takes ball 1. She has walked, grounded to second, grounded into a fielder's choice to Robinson at first, who was able to throw out Hubbard at home 2 innings ago.
Nice tag by Emma Ray on that play, going back to it.
Shows bunt, takes a strike. We haven't seen Schlosser use as much of her speed this weekend. Has done a little bit of slapping, not much bunting.
It's hard against Emma Ray. Emma Ray not only has a great arm, but gets out behind the plate fast. That pop time is incredibly fast. And when you're facing off against Lauren Boyd, who's a spectacular fielder in the field, it's hard to lay down a bunt on her.
Grounder to first. Robinson thought about it, now goes over and has time to get the out. Nice play by Kansas. Robinson, middle of the order, due up in the bottom of the 6th for the Wildcats. Their chances are beginning to dwindle. Still chasing 2 against Molly Jacobson and the Badgers on Big Ten Plus. Avisado, Robinson, and Donahue. Big moment for the middle of the order against Molly Jacobson for Northwestern. Avisado watches the ball. She has singled and flown out to left today. Mentioned Foster came in at second. Again, Wisconsin's doing that. They had that extra switch of Lewis to right to allow Bojan to stay in the designated player spot when she re-entered. So keeping their best bats in the lineup in that regard.
And Bojan's just been getting on base, whether it's with her bat or without her bat. We've talked about her walks too, but doing such a good job of getting herself on base one way or another.
She's due up fourth in the top of the seventh, and of course had to keep Kendra Lewis. Speaking of a hot bat, had to keep her in the lineup, so put her in right. See if the Wildcats test her out there or test Foster at second, who hasn't played much in this series. The 1-1. Change-up hit well to center. First goes in, now it's over the head of Lucy. She misread it, and Kaylee Avisado trots into second with a leadoff double.
Stand-up double too, so impressive. That looked like and that's so interesting because Jacobson threw the changeup right, and Avisado took complete advantage of it. But you have to wonder if that's not a changeup and that pitch is thrown full speed, that ball's out of the park.
You could see Danny Lucy just misread it a little bit. So tough when that ball's right at you as a center fielder or just over your head. At first came in, and it was too late by the time she started tracking back.
Hard there because she went to drop step but didn't drop step straight back, and that's where the issue is. As an outfielder, your first step is always back, and her first step was indeed back. It wasn't like she messed that up, but it was the fact that she went to the left and then had to do a 180 and go straight back. That's the hardest part.
Candace Robinson's had a tough day at the plate. Struck out looking and swinging in her two at-bats today. Struck out looking to end the game yesterday as well. She watches a first pitch on the outside corner for strike one, hoping to solve Molly Jacobson.
Yeah, honestly, this whole series has been a little tough for Candace Robinson, but coming in, she was so hot right up until the start of the series. So have to wonder if it's the Wisconsin pitching, if it's something with her swing, you never know.
Remember, doubled off Molly Jacobson the first time she saw her this weekend. Has been retired on each of the last 5 trips, though.
Yeah, and that was it. In the first game on Friday, didn't hit at all.
1-1 on Robinson with Donahue waiting on deck. Skied to shallow right. Kendra Lewis reads it, makes the play. Avisado thinks about third and then retreats. Throw nearly got away, but.
So she did decide to test Kendra Lewis. Kendra Lewis just showed up.
And now Bridget Donahue, who has reached base in each of her past 5 plate appearances. 2 walks and hit by pitch yesterday, hit by pitch and a bunt single today. So the farthest the ball has gone off her bat in the last 2 games is about 40, not even, like 25 feet. She's turned that into 5 times on base.
Yeah, in fair territory, at least, yeah. I don't even know. Has she even hit foul balls back?
Donahue watches a strike on the outside part of the plate.
Northwestern usually so dangerous on the base paths, but it's been pretty quieted down by Wells behind the plate. And you think about how much of an effect that's had on the entire series, really. Northwestern usually manufactures runs as soon as they get a runner on base, but hasn't been able to do that in the same way this series.
The Emmy Wells effect. Well, I'm not sure where that missed. Ball 1 to Donahue. Izzy Kania waiting on deck. She singled last time up, helping to load the bases. And also flew out to the wall her first trip. Must have just been outside. Close miss for Molly Jacobson. The 1-1 up high, and Donahue is ahead in the count again.
Jacobson also definitely, you can tell, as she throws more and more pitches, threw so many pitches yesterday, 114, thrown 71 already today. You can see her losing just a little bit of velocity on those pitches where she had a little bit more when she first went in.
Skied foul and twisting out of play down the right field side. 2-2 on Donahue.
And in that moment, Renee Cunningham is usually in the bullpen, but she's so glad she's not there right now.
Yeah, that would have been close. This is the part of the order that Northwestern would love to create something out of.
And needs to create something out of if they're looking to really challenge the Badgers for this game.
Donahue reached 5 times in a row. Fouls it off. Just got enough of the changeup to stay alive.
And that looks like a pitch that comes out. It's so interesting because we talked about a couple innings ago how most teams look for that changeup, right? They look for that slower pitch that the hitters can just blast. But Northwestern doesn't exactly do that. And it's so interesting to see Jacobson kind of just lay in these meatballs to the plate. And Northwestern hasn't been taking them out. They've just been wasting them.
6th pitch of the at-bat. Avisado at second, 1 away for Donahue. Swing and a miss, got her on the changeup again. Molly Jacobson continues to deliver with runners on base.
And I really feel like the change of velocity is messing with these Northwestern hitters. There's so many pitches that this pitch isn't even in a crazy place. It's honestly a little bit low, but the placement of it isn't bad, but Northwestern just having a really hard time getting their bats on balls that they normally would. So you have to imagine either there's some crazy spin we can't see from here, or it's just the change in velocity.
And just struggling with timing as Kania steps in. She gets a changeup and hits it weakly. And Molly Jacobson escapes again. 6 shutout innings for Jacobson, stranding another Wildcat runner in scoring position, and now just 3 outs away from a complete game shutout. Badgers by 2 as we head to the 7th.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Player Kendra Lewis, 3 line drives today. The single in the first to drive in the first Wisconsin run. The triple after that in the third down the right field line to drive in the second Wisconsin run. And lined out to Kansas Robinson last time up in the 5th. She is seeing the ball so well right now. Watches a strike on the outside corner here. Lewis has been able to put hard contact on every pitch Northwestern's pitchers have given her.
I mean, talk about a good hitter. We talk about hitters who go with whatever they're given. Kendra Lewis, a hitter, especially just as a first year, does such a good job of going with whatever she's given and turning it into something productive.
Lewis, I mentioned earlier, the only player in this Wisconsin starting lineup with fewer than double-digit walks. She is a free swinger. That's because she can hit pretty much any pitch hard. Grounds this one foul to go behind 1 and 2.
You have to imagine if anyone on this team would be getting the green light with 3-0, it's Kendra Lewis.
Absolutely.
But I don't think she really ever gets to a 3-0 count.
Yeah, she hits it before it gets there. Absolutely. We've seen her make hard contact on pitches out of the zone already this weekend.
And not afraid to hit with 2 strikes either.
Watches this one off the plate outside.
Some hitters, when they have 2 strikes on them, obviously you want to change your approach a little bit. You want to shorten up on the bat. You want to expand your strike zone. But Kendra Lewis just looks so comfortable with 2 strikes. We've seen so many counts where she gets to that point and doesn't change her swing at all and still hits for power.
2 and 2 on Lewis. This is hit well to right field. Kendra Lewis does it again. Back-to-back games with a home run. All 3 RBI today and gives Wisconsin an important insurance run in the 7th.
Kendra Lewis swinging the bat so well. That ball was nearly over the bleachers in center field.
Red hot isn't enough to describe it. Kendra Lewis tracking towards potentially another Big Ten Freshman of the Week honor. Sees this one in the middle of the zone and knows what to do with it. Wisconsin has 4 hits today. 3 of them have been by Lewis. RBI single, RBI triple, RBI home run. Don't need to say the RBI part.
I was going to say, and 3 of them have been by Lewis and 2 of them have been extra base hits.
Popped at the plate. Emma Ray watches it fly out of play.
You know, Noah, you've been talking all day about wanting a ball to smack you in the press box. And frankly, that almost worked.
I don't think that's the way I phrased it,
I
actually.
kind of feel like that's how I interpreted it.
That's good to know.
Noah was he very much wanted to open the window, which is nice, I admit.
Emmy Wells, 0 for 2 with a walk today. Lauren Boyd has really had every Wisconsin hitter except for Kendra Lewis's number today. She's only allowed 1 hit to the other 8 batters in the lineup.
It's unbelievable.
Lewis has created all the Wisconsin offense. Her and Molly Jacobson almost winning this game on their own. There's been plenty of great Wisconsin defensive plays around them, certainly, but still.
Lewis has definitely been tampering with Boyd's stat line. You can put it that way.
Absolutely. 2-1 on Wells.
Wisconsin's so excited. I mean, they can feel what they're on the brink of right now.
7, 8, 9 due up in the bottom of the 7th for Northwestern. That's grounded foul by Wells. Wisconsin has not played a Big Ten game all season. This is their 22nd Big Ten game. They have not played one all season in which the teams combined for fewer than 5 runs. That's the case right now.
That's what happens during a pitcher's duel. I mean, I guess they just haven't seen a lot of pitcher's duels.
Not many pitcher's duels. This is a pretty offense-heavy team.
Molly Jacobson just putting up a performance for the ages, really.
2-2. Line softly out of play down the left field side. Wells has worked a lot of counts. This is her 4th plate appearance of the day. All 4 have gone to 5 or more pitches. Emily Bojan due up on deck in that designated player spot. Strike 3 call. Lauren Boyd gets a big second out. That's her 5th K of the afternoon.
And that honestly is just important morale-wise for Northwestern. Obviously, Boyd, you see it here, just a beautiful pitch on the outside top corner, but gave up the home run before to Lewis, and that's definitely a way to regain it. You know, you felt the energy shift in the stadium a little bit, and that's a way to say, hey, no, we're not done yet. Strike her out and continue the inning.
The home run to Lewis was a rare one allowed by Boyd. 1/3 of the home runs she's allowed this season have come this weekend by Lewis and Blomberg, who hit one on Friday.
And the Badgers are just such a home run heavy team. They have 52 home runs on the season, which is 4th in program history, and it's only the 4th team in program history to eclipse that mark.
Yeah. We'd be talking a lot more about Wisconsin's home run hitting prowess within the Big Ten Conference if not for a certain pair of other teams, that being Ohio State and Nebraska, who are top 2 in the nation in home runs. Kieran Kumar at Ohio State has elevated them past the century mark in home runs this season.
Unbelievable.
Obviously a program record.
It feels like every time you turn on the TV to watch one of those teams, all you see is just balls flying out of the park.
2-0 in there for strike 1 to Bojan. She struck out looking on 10 pitches back in the 5th. Well, that about sums it up right there. Kendra Lewis, the impact that she has had offensively today. Not much more needs to be said.
We talked about how she has the majority of almost all of the team's hits, but bases-wise, too, just ridiculous.
2-1, strike 2. 7, 8, 9 due up in the bottom of the inning for Northwestern. Lauren Boyd trying to keep the deficit at 3 when it gets there. 2-2, 2 outs to Bojan. Boyd's 130th pitch of the afternoon is outside.
She's thrown nearly 250 pitches this series. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, 226 to be exact. She is approaching heavy numbers. Molly Jacobson on the other side approaching 200 herself. And she's done it on back-to-back days as well.
I can't even imagine. And looks totally fine. Doesn't look like it's bothering her at all.
The 3-2. Line to right field. Nader can't make the play off the base of the wall. Lindsay scoops it up, and the throw to second is late and offline. Emily Bojan stays hot. Her 4th hit of the weekend is a 2-out double.
Looked like Nader thought that was going to sink a little bit, but was one of those line drives that just kept rising. She set up for it, thought it was going to come back down a little bit, and just went a couple feet over her head. You see it here. Good piece of hitting to the right center. See, Nader goes back on it, tries to make the catch, and just goes maybe a foot above her glove.
Pinch runner coming in for Bojan. It's Kate Linkletter entering the game. She finished the game in right field yesterday for Wisconsin. So the question is, will Linkletter enter as the designated player or in right field? Either way, Bojan out for the rest of the game.
Not this again. I can't with the...
There could be, she could be entering for Kendra Lewis to play right field defensively. I think we've seen Yvette Healy takes her abilities as a defensive outfielder in high esteem.
Yes.
So if that is the case, then Lewis would be done, if not Bojan's done. Either way, it looks like Wisconsin is also bringing a pinch hitter to the plate. Danny Lucy was 0 for 2 with a walk today. We will see her pinch hit for the first time this weekend. It's Eden Dempsey, the senior catcher, who we have not seen much of this weekend.
Only seen her once on Friday. She was 0 for 1 with 1 RBI, though, so that could also be why they're taking her in here with a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, the numbers for Dempsey this season are interesting. 2 for 13 on the year, 1 home run, 6 RBI. 6 RBI, she's only gotten 2 hits. That is not very easy to do.
No, pretty impressive. And she has yet to start a game, so that also explains some of the numbers, but it's 14 appearances.
It's almost, I mean, just doing the math. 6 RBI on 2 hits. She doesn't have any sack flies. No sack bunts. Could have an RBI ground out or 2 in there, certainly, but
pretty impressive.
yeah, it's difficult to arrive at a number much higher than that.
It's the same vibes as Lauren Zaborski having like almost all extra base hits when she comes in to pinch hit.
Absolutely. Conversations abound here. Dempsey, the local product. Jefferson, Wisconsin native in her senior season with this Badger program.
The Badgers really big on people from the Midwest. Wisconsin, I mean, you love Illinois. Let's talk about Illinois. Like,
a lot of Wisconsin and Illinois natives, certainly.
More than half the team, 64% of it is made up of girls from Wisconsin or Illinois.
First pitch misses well high to Dempsey. Looking for a signature moment in her final game in the Big Ten regular season. An insurance run just 120 feet away. Chopper to short. Avisado has it on 2 hops. And throw across to first is in plenty of time. So Dempsey retired. Northwestern coming to bat, but Wisconsin continuing to make noise off the bat of first year Kendra Lewis. Delivered a huge solo bomb to put the Badgers up 3. Last of the 7th coming your way on Big Ten Plus. Seven, 8, 9. Last chance for the Wildcats. Zaborski, Ray, and Lindsay against Molly Jacobson, who has had her best performance of the season so far today. 6 innings of shutout work for Jacobson, who has struck out 3, walked just 1, gotten soft contact continuously, and stranded Wildcat after Wildcat on the bases. 6 of them through 6 innings.
And not to mention, in total, she's had 10 straight shutout innings. The last 4 innings of last game yesterday were also shutouts. So 10 straight innings of shutout work against the Wildcats. That's something that not a lot of pitchers can say they did. And if you see that stat line, 25 balls and 50 strikes, that's just another point of seeing how well she's doing and how much she's exceeding in her pitching.
Looking for the rare back-to-back complete game winners as she misses high to Zaborski. Linkletter, as we predicted, has entered into right field. A defensive switch there for Wisconsin. Zaborski stands in with a 1-0 count. And watches a ball below the knees. Lauren Zaborski lined out softly to short, then walked on 11 pitches in the 4th.
A walk on 11 pitches, no big deal.
Emma Ray on deck. Was pinch hit for by Garden in the 4th, then re-entered. She's back in the on-deck circle here. Goes without saying, but the Wildcats need base runners. Zaborski up the middle, off the glove, and that'll be an infield single. A big hit in Lauren Zaborski's final game at the J, trying to kickstart a Wildcat rally.
And interesting because Jacobson has been what's gotten Wisconsin to this point defensively. She's been pitching absolutely making the shutout, but sticks out her glove here, just goes right off, and not enough time for Hubbard to make that throw to first.
And Jacobson knew there was nobody behind her. Wisconsin was not playing up the middle defensively.
She had to try.
Absolutely, no
other option. She did the right
option.
thing. Sometimes you just can't stick it.
Emma Ray popped out to 3rd, back in the 2nd. She stands in with Zaborski at 1st. Anna Lindsay on deck. And watches one well outside.
Battle of the 17s.
Absolutely. Wildcats hoping to bring the tying run to the plate. Still some action in the Wisconsin bullpen. We have seen just one pitcher for the past 13 Wisconsin innings. Ball 2 to Ray. This is uncharacteristic for Jacobson. She's gotten behind back-to-back hitters now.
And Jacobson, as we mentioned, doesn't always finish games. Only two complete games this season, one of which came yesterday. So maybe a later in the season thing, not as used to pitching when she's up and trying to finish the game.
3 walks and 2 hit by pitches in her 13 innings of work this weekend as she deals a strike to Ray there. 4 of those free passes have gone to Bridget Donahue. And Lauren Zaborski was walked. That's it.
So obviously it's not in the same way because Lewis is just crushing Boyd right now. But maybe Donahue has Jacobson's number a little bit?
In terms of seeing balls, I guess. 2-1 on Ray with Zaborski leading off first. Long look in for the sign. Jacobson delivers a ground ball into the hole to second for 1. Not in time for the double play. But a big lead runner out. Another nice play by Hubbard, who's had a very good weekend, bouncing back from a tough game on Friday.
And that's what you do as a shortstop. Your shortstop's the leader of your defense. They're the leader of your infield. And you lean on them that when they do have a tough game, it's hard to play shortstop. Tough balls are hit. This is a hard ball, too. Spinning weird, but a great play on it by Hubbard. Able to get it over to second immensely quickly.
Northwestern will pinch run here for Emma Ray, with Grace Menarvik trying to put some more speed on the bases. Doesn't mean much unless Northwestern gets to the 8th inning, in which case Emma Ray is out of the game. Remember, she was already pinch hit for once. So Menarvik enters. I think the Wildcats are praying that they get the chance to potentially regret the pinch running decision.
And Zaborski's in as your DP right now, too, so she would just slide over into that catcher position easy, and we saw them do that yesterday as well.
Lindsay watches it outside. Ayanna Lindsay.
The aborted
the
double.
To be or not to be double. I'm trying to think of a new name, okay?
Sorry.
In the 3rd inning, and then grounded to short back in the 5th.
Did I ruin your creative process?
Absolutely. Looking to extend her each base streak to 9. Grounder up the middle. Tough diving stop, not in time for the out at second. That's why Northwestern used the pinch runner. The speed of Grace Menarvik makes it difficult for Foster to make the play at second.
That was almost the greatest defensive play I've ever seen. Can we just talk about that for a second? If she had been able to actually flip that ball up, goes here, full extension to make that diver. Not full, but nearly full, and it almost flips it up. So hard. No way to put accuracy on that flip from the glove.
Well, Ayanna Lindsay's reach base streak continues. Grace Nito stands in as the tying run. And watches a strike on the outside corner. Jacobson getting ahead again.
Jacobson's been so good against these lefty slappers, especially today.
How about the trust from Yvette Healy in her 5th year hurler? 2 on with 1 out. Trusting her to get out the top of the order. Nito up the third base line. It's fair. That's into the corner. Menarvik scores. Lindsay dives into third. It's an RBI double from Grace Nito. And the Wildcats are in business.
And Nito's pumped. That's exactly what she needed. After going 0 for 3 in her first 3 plate appearances, is able to just nab that one down the third base line, get around, and with her speed, there was no doubt she was turning that into a double.
What phenomenal placement by Grace Nito. Waited on that ball, sent it right past Blomberg, who was pulled in at third. And now Yvette Healy will have a decision to make. She's going to go out and have a conversation with her pitcher. For now, the indication is that she is leaving her in. Second and third, 1 away. And misses down and away. So Nader, a little antsy, but able to hold off.
But also at the point where if Nader were to get on base, obviously you don't want to face Avisado, we were talking about that, but if Nader were to get on base, doesn't change the situation that much. But obviously you'd rather pitch to her than pitch to Avisado.
Nader 2 for 7 against Jacobson this weekend. Flies this to deep center field, but tracking it is Lucy. Makes the catch at the track. The Wildcats will bring in another run, and Nito scoots to third. But importantly for Wisconsin, they are now just 1 out away.
One out of the way, but 60 feet, Northwestern 60 feet away from tying the game too.
So it will come down to Kaylee Avisado, the first-year phenom for the Wildcats. Has had the most success all day against Molly Jacobson, but Yvette Healy is staying in the dugout. She's putting this game in the hands of her fifth-year hurler. You see Ayanna Lindsay score here.
Such a seasoned vet, knows exactly what to do. As soon as that ball left the bat and was in the air, she was back at third waiting to tag.
Pressure on Emmy Wells here as well. Cannot let a ball get by her with Grace Nito 60 feet away. Badger infield is deep at all four positions. And Avisado watches a strike.
And such a big, obviously, Northwestern wants Avisado up. She's been their best hitter all season, but such a big opportunity for the first year. Imagine being in your first year of college, you immediately come into a starter position, and now you're in this position here late in the season at your team's last home game.
Almost would have expected Wisconsin to potentially pitch around Avisado here. Instead, Jacobson going right after her. Misses that one in the dirt. Remember, Robinson on deck. 0 for 3 today. Flew out to right last time up. Jacobson has struck her out 3 of the last 4 times she's seen her, whereas Avisado, in her 2 appearances against Jacobson, 4 for 7. And of course, has not struck out in all of Big Ten play.
Just to add that fun fact in there.
She's going to make your defense play her. Tying run at third, 2 away. The 1-1 to Avisado. Hit well to left center! Kaylee Avisado wins the series for the Wildcats with 1 swing of the bats.
What a way to end senior day. You're a freshman?
Kaylee Avisado sends the Wildcats home happy. As you said it, Zoe, perfectly. The freshman wins it for her seniors. Avisado seals the deal.